isolating people from the community they should
definitely
be supported by.
Exactly.
And that's what we hear quite a bit, don't we, from women that are isolated from their community, they feel on their own, you know, so we get that quite often, don't we?
Because obviously normally people live in areas where their families live nearby, and their friends live nearby, and when they're escaping domestic violence they normally go out of borough. So they'll go to a new borough where they haven't got friends, they haven't got family, they haven't got a local connection, so they are very isolated from anybody. They don't know the area, they don't know which buses to get, they don't know where the shops are. So it's a very isolating time until they get the support of staff.
And so they've been isolated in a relationship, and then the refuge can be isolating as well, but obviously staff establish, you know, networks for the families too.
So what sort of things are you doing with people who, when the families come here, do you have particular courses or particular sets of sessions you run for them? What sort of things are you doing there?
Yeah, we're running a number of courses. We're running like empowerment course that gives self-esteem, because obviously look, quite often the relationship they've been put down, downtrodden, and the self-esteem and the self-worth's at an all-time low for quite a lot of few families that come here, and that's a real powerful course that we're running. We're also running 2 other courses, the Strengthening Families and Strengthening Communities, which Kerry can tell you about the parenting.
Yeah, the parenting courses obviously focuses on how the relationship between mother and children has suffered and now can be improved, and how they can work at setting boundaries and becoming a parent again, whereas perhaps it was controlled by their partner, they wasn't allowed to use. They was too
Controlled.
The children were too over. I'm trying to say. We'll have to cut that bit. That's fine. But I know what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Well, the parenting skills.
Yeah, mums obviously sometimes the dads take over, and so they're too rough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and sort of overcompensating on either side. Yeah.
So mum's got to bring the boundaries up and down sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. And do your family stay with you a while, or?
They're normally with us, I would say probably a year. At the moment, they're probably the length time they're staying is a year. I mean, it can be as long as 2, it can be as short as 3 months. Depending, you know, the ladies could stay a night. It just really depends a lot on the lady and if they're willing to stay and work at.
So you're building up quite a community within the centre.
Most definitely.
It's very important, the support that they give each other in the centre, and we help with that, to encourage that.
What sort of things you find you have to teach people when they come out of an abusive relationship? I mean, things which we would take for granted. What are the...
Yeah, I wouldn't say teach, it's trying just to, you know, help them make the right choices as such, you know, and also, like, you know, so they can see what kind of relationship they've been in, and then hopefully next time they make the right choices to be in better relationships for themselves and for their children.
I know sometimes when ladies come into the refuge, they've not had many dealings with finances, etc. So giving them support and advice on how to manage their finances and claiming benefits if they need to do so. Even the smallest things that perhaps we would take for granted, such as doing the shopping, the weekly shop. They've never done that before because their partners took full control of their life. They didn't go shopping. So they would have to learn, you know, go to Tesco's, like, how much can I spend this week? Am I going to overspend? You know, how does this work? What do I pay? Because a lot of ladies haven't even gone to Tesco's before and bought their, you know, their bread. It can be to that point.
That just gives you an idea of how controlled and isolated somebody has been.
Sometimes they're not even, you know, they don't leave the house. You know, they don't. Some of them don't do the school run. You know, what you'd expect. Like, mum just doesn't do the school run. She doesn't do the shopping. She's literally the house, keeps it clean, keeps it tidy, and indoors, away from her friends. You'll isolate them from friends and family. Won't have visitors. Not allowed visitors. So they're very much on their own, very isolated. And leaving, it's like learning you know, especially if they've been with their partner for a long time. It's like learning how to live life again.
And that's what we're trying to do, help them gain independence.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's our goal really.
So, what sort of age ranges are we talking about as well?
I mean, 18 up until very, you know,
But,
this it just varies. We've supported a lady of 101 who had been through abuse in the past,
Yeah.
and it obviously was affecting her still, and she got counselling from us, from our organisation. So it does show that the broad range of who it can be happening to, who it's happened to, and who it's affected.
Mm. And what about, you know, when people are coming here in terms of creating that idea of normality? That's something which I've heard a lot today, you know, that idea of something which is normal, trying to get some sort of root and basis. I mean, what sort of things are able to do with that besides, you know, obviously going through some courses, taking people out, whatever, is all helpful. But there's also that family unit, isn't it? The children don't have the friends and they're in the same schools.
Well, I mean, obviously for the children, we do have a kids club for the children, which they can go to after school every day, and they get to go in there and socialise with the other children in the building. Mums are welcome too if they want to go down and talk to the other mum. So it's where they can come together, make friends, and then from that they can, you know, it's making more friendships.
We go on outings because obviously we recognise that it is a different environment, and we try and make it as normal as possible. So we encourage the mums and the children to go on, like we arrange outings for them to, like, you know, theme parks and things like that, so they can have some fun as well. I think that's important, don't we, with the children?
Yeah. It's also just encouragement, I think, for the ladies. Sometimes when you come into a refuge, you're very down, very depressed, and sometimes it's easy to get into a bit of a slump where you find it difficult to get up and do things. But it's just encouragement from staff sometimes to say, come on, why don't we take the kids over the park for half an hour, getting them out in the fresh air, and sometimes it just helps them. You know, why don't we go to the children's centre? They've got a few groups there. Let's go to the local children's centre, and you can, you know, meet some other mums. That gives them more friends in the area. It's just encouraging, I think.
And in terms of the TVs, how do you think that might help?
Well, I think that's going to be a fantastic thing to give our ladies, because obviously when they come into a refuge, it's completely different. They've left behind all their belongings, and just having a TV can give them that bit of light relief. You know, watching EastEnders being the norm, being able to keep in contact with people and say, oh, did you watch EastEnders last night? It's just that, and for the children, they can all watch a DVD, let mum get on with the washing, settle down, and it just keeps them entertained. It can be a really lonely place sometimes, especially when you've just moved in and you're not really sure of your surroundings, and you're not sure of the area, and you're not really sure of the people you're living with. So it's nice to have the TV to fill the silence sometimes.
And it's trying to get away from that stigma. Like, they went to school and they're like, oh, did you watch that? Oh, we haven't got a TV.
Exactly.
Well, now they have, you know, you've been able to give the opportunity that they have. So there's not a stigma attached, you know, they're embarrassed sometimes that they're in a refuge anyway and they're away from everything. But at least we'll be able to give them, you know, a bit of normality.
And do you think there's going to be much difference in the impact between having the communal area with the DVDs and the TVs in their rooms? Do you see that as?
I think most definitely, because I think now it's gonna bring the ladies and the children together more in the communal area, especially. They can come down and chat with each other, and the kids can all come in and watch the telly. And the mums can go and have a cup of tea. You know, I think it's going to be a great help to them. Encouraged
a supportive environment that we're trying to create, but that's an actual focal point that will encourage that, and we're really pleased about that.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's just nice for the mums, the ones in their room, the mums in the evening, children have gone to bed, it's all quiet, it's their time, they can relax, they haven't got to worry about everything else that's going on in their life. It's just an hour's time to watch what they want on the telly.
Bit of escapism from the day sometimes, and we all need that sometimes. Had a hard day, children been hard, and it's just their time, instead of just sitting with your thoughts just going round and round. There's something to, to focus on.
Okay.
Tell me about when people are moving on. So you're saying it could take up to 2 years for somebody to find accommodation. The norm at the moment is about a year. But they're obviously then going into social housing.
Some private renting.
Some private renting.
Yeah.
But they're going in without anything because they left everything behind. So I've had this idea of doing a loan scheme for some time. So I give a centre, a stock of say 10 TVs, so they can be loaned out to people, get them up and going over the next 3 months or so. So they don't have to bear those expenses. But I know one of the first items people usually buy when they set up at home is a TV.
Well, that would help, wouldn't it? So,
Most definitely.
like you say, that is so important.